Hello, my darlings. It's Saturday, the 13th of July, and I thought today, or this afternoon, we would enjoy Emily St. John Mandel, Station 11. I love this book. What's not to love about this? 333 pages of absolute gorgeousness. Emily lived, well, should I say she was born and raised on the west coast of British Columbia, Canada. She studied contemporary dance at the School of Toronto Dance Theatre and lived briefly in Montreal before relocating to New York. She is the author of 5 novels, including The Glass Hotel, 2020, and Station 11, 2014, of which this is from 2015 and is the second imprinting from Pan Macmillan. So it's not actually a true first edition, but it's as close as I could get, because the actual first editions are a bit pricey, to say the least. But if you've got one, good on you. Hang on to it. It's only going to increase in value because it's such a gem of a novel. Station 11 was a finalist for a National Book Award and the Pen Faulkner Award, and won the Morning News Tournament of Books, and has been translated into no less than 34 languages. She lives in New York City with her husband and daughter. And having read this book, I'm surprised she's not living on an island. But there, we will get into the novel. When the Georgia flu sweeps across the world, killing 99% of the human race, we suddenly, somehow, find ourselves wrapped in the most excruciating grief known to mankind. Loss. Loss of ourselves, loss of our families, and the loss of our world. We cannot comprehend this loss. We cannot fathom the depths to which of the despair that we will go to in our attempt to find solace in our solitude, in our newly found solitude. The hardest part of loving someone is losing them. As the saying goes, grief is the price we pay for love. We mourn their passing, and we also mourn for the part of ourselves which is lost within each of their passings. To survive is painful. To live on is excruciating. It's excruciating in its loneliness. I do beg your pardon, I'm afraid I have a patient upstairs, which is what prompted me to do this, the Georgian flu, because my husband is currently laid on the sofa, sniffling and coughing away, and if you couldn't hear him in the background, I had to close the door because he's just so noisy. Anyway, back to my report. I have met survivalists, preppers, over my many years on this earth. The people obsessed with surviving at any cost. They have food, water, all the supplies you could possibly imagine. They have the bullets and the bunkers to match. They all have one aim. They are living for the end of the world. With the end of the world in mind, having your every need met, I wonder, what about the needs of the soul? For without nurture and fulfillment, the soul should surely wither and die. What about music and poetry and stories, beautiful wine, sumptuous chocolate, What is the point of surviving the worst the world can throw at you if your mind and soul withers and dies because it finds nothing to live for? Arthur Leander, the world-famous movie actor, is playing the lead role in King Lear on stage in Toronto. Dying is so not a good thing, but drop dead he does, of a fatal heart attack, and it's very fatal. He's not coming back from this one. He got out while the going was good. Kirsten is a child actress in the play, and for a very brief nanosecond believes this to be the worst day of her life. Oh, how wrong she was. In the audience, Jeevan Chowdhury, a paramedic trainee, who leaps onto the stage and tries to save Arthur's life. In vain, my darling, it was done in vain. Jeevan leaves the theatre feeling adrift in life, but feeling like he knows what his purpose in life will be. Jeevan is suddenly interrupted in his train of thought by a phone call from a friend who works at the hospital. The Georgian flu is in the States. And what a state it is in the States! The medical staff have no treatment available. It's killing people faster than they can start medical procedures. Now faced with this predicament, Jeevan, he does the remarkable, the unthinkable, the undoable, but Jeevan does it. Most people faced with this kind of news, and I do say most, freeze with fright about their predicament. But not our Jeevan. Oh no, our Jeevan promptly goes to the shopping centre, to the supermarket, to the grocery store, and gets 7 carts and fills them all with food. Yeah, what a dude. Jeevan, if you see a bloke with 7 carts of food, follow him, is a sure bet. The poetic vision of Jeevan pushing 7 carts of food through the streets of Toronto will stay with you forever. It truly will. Because Jeevan acted rather than sat and thought about it, this saved his life. Kirsten also survives by her wonderful luck, and we also find her in the future as part of a travelling theatre group. They live to act and act to live. They protect each other and continue to perform the plays of William Shakespeare, the greatest playwright that history of the world. He is a genius. He is the greatest playwright. And to remember him this way, isn't that not the most beautiful homage that we could ever do with what's left of us? They act to remember and they perform to what's left of the human race. Something of our past preserved forever for the future. For the future world to gaze on in awe and wonderment for a time long past. A faraway world that can only be held within a dream. For that's all we have, the chance to dream. To remember, to love, to miss, to escape our bitter reality. Things that survive are 2 comics called Dr. 11, because Arthur Leander's ex-wife gave him copies and he promptly gave them to Kirsten a few hours before he died. thought they would entertain Kirsten, and they did, for decades. The motto of the travelling actors' survival is insufficient. Yes, their motto is survival is insufficient. We must nourish the soul if we are to remain human. What would you miss when everything is gone? Oh, so many things I would miss. For me, a decadent dark chocolate, a fine red wine. On a summer's day, a crisp white wine, a gin and tonic, fresh pasta. I wrote these down because I loved them so much. A full-bodied fillet steak, a good novel, ice-cold Coke, fresh fish and chips, a nice warm bed to sleep in at night with the security that I could drift off to sleep without worrying about being attacked during the night. Savour these things now before they are all gone. Can you imagine no more music unless you play an instrument? There will be no electricity, so all those records will never be played, and all the movies too that will never be watched. Know what else I'd miss? Hot water, cleanliness, the automatic washing machine. We take everything for granted. We live the most libertine lifestyle of all the ages. We really have never had it so good. We really haven't. We are spoiled beyond reason, beyond words. Yet we lose it all devastatingly. Station 11 teaches us that. With the loss of ourselves is the loss of humanity. The travelling Shakespeare actors, in their own way, managed to hold on and pass on what remains of it to us. There's always a bad guy in these books, isn't there? Right? Ooh, don't like you. No. Anyway, we're gonna meet him. We meet him along the way. He is the prophet. A religious element. Of course, there's always a religious element. Has taken over the region. He is led by a man who is selling "We Are the Light." He's selling Shinola, all right. A friendly gesture. Hand over the women of your group, and I will select one to be my wife. Oh, lucky me, I hope he picks me, said no girl ever. Friendly, my ass. My ass. Why not whack him now and escape? There's always, why is it like we leave it to the last minute to think, you know what, I should have shot you in scene 2. Ah dear. The acting group politely decline his offer and they escape. And while leaving, discover they have a young stowaway who is frantic to escape. Well, do you know, I wonder why. She's so frantic to escape because she is destined to become the next wife of the prophet. How many wives does this guy have? Clearly, one too many. Definitely. The prophet is mighty mad. And it soon becomes a case of the great big chase as Kirsten and her friends try to outrun The Mad Prophet. Will they succeed? Darlings, you're going to have to pick the book up and find out, because I'm not telling you the ending, because that would ruin it for you. I will, however, give this novel a 10 out of 10. Definitely. It's an absolute must read, and it's in my top 100 books to read before you die. It's up there. You have to read this book. It is calling to you. It is saying, pick me up, bring me home, sit down, and let me entertain you for 333 glorious, sumptuous pages. And you will not regret the decision to bring this book home and read it. You will. Because, and I leave you with this, my darlings, if civilization was lost, what would you preserve, and how far would you go to protect it? What would you do? You must let me know. And also let me know if you actually read this darling, darling book. Emily has given us a classical masterpiece. This, in years to come, will be taught in English literature along with Lord of the Flies. It has to be, for what we have simply just lived through with COVID, and what we may live through again with the next pandemic, disease X, bird flu. Who knows what's going to be presented to us? But Emily has given us the blueprint on how we as humanity are going to get through it. I cannot recommend this book highly enough. You really must read this novel. It is poetry. It is beauty. It is beauty and grace. Don't leave this book out. Do read it. Give it a chance. I guarantee you won't be able to put it down. Take care, my darlings, and enjoy, enjoy, and enjoy it again. Bye-bye. Happy readings, darlings, and enjoy. If you like what I do, you can always give me a thumbs up. If you really like what I do, you can always give me a follow. Because I do appreciate you being there, and I do appreciate your opinions on books, and my thoughts and my musings on anything. I do appreciate. Take care, my darlings, and bye-bye.